Welcome to LRG Podcast, everyone. We are here joined by two great panelists and myself, semi-decent, I would say, at least. Just like this episode will
Far
cover.
above average.
Anyway, thank you. We are here covering the latest episode of Survivor 46, episode 2. We had a great kickoff episode, and now we're talking about this episode. We'll just cut to that. So
tell us how you really feel.
I know, right? We just got started. My name is Dustin. I kind of help with the LRG podcast. I help with any kind of live game thing related that I possibly can. I'm joined by another alum. Actually, both of you are alums, technically, in the LRG community. Will, we don't know much about yours, but we have seen Dr. Jamie on a few things. Most recently, Survivor Bloomington, which is covered by Steven and Drew on our channel here as well. So, Jamie, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me back. Nice to be here as always.
For folks that are watching and maybe not familiar with you, you have a nicely branded shirt. Do you want to talk about that for a quick second?
Yeah, so I am one of two co-hosts of Who is the Mole, the live game. So we are currently on season 3 that's going to be coming out this April. So if you love mole games, follow us on Facebook. We're going to do a lot of live streaming of that this time around. So it should be a lot of fun.
A super highly rated game in our community. Lots of great feedback. So I'm excited to see another season of that. Will, I'm less familiar with your work, to be honest. So please tell the audience, tell me, tell everyone what brings you here to LRG Podcast.
So I mean, I've been a fan of LRGs for many, many moons, and then I ended up kind of falling into production of it's called Survive Fern. We did 2 seasons, but even though it was a live reality game, not really connected to the community because it just has a little bit different of a vibe. We have like a big arts community where I live in Jersey called Asbury Park. And we just casted Asbury Park locals, musicians, kind of creatives. And so I got brought in and the host had no clue what LRGs were. And I'm like, oh, this is a thing. Like the host was like, oh, people do fan-made Survivor games. Like, I was like, oh, you thought you were the first? No, man. But we live. And so, yeah, we did 2 seasons of that. And then after that, I was like, okay, I think I can branch out on my own. And I the co-host of Stranded is my friend Jack, who also played in Survive Fern. So I've done 2 seasons. He did our tribals for season 2. He was a player season 1, and then since Survive Fern, I've helped on the Caucus Challenge season 17. Season 16 is about to come out in March, so I know all about 17, which is a complete, like, you have no clue what's coming. It was absolutely insane. I worked production / medical, living my Dr. Liza fantasies. And we'll leave it at that. And then in April, I will be working on Destination Mole season 1, which will be in Michigan. And then Stranded, which is me and Jack's game, is a Survivor game set in Jersey, 2-day game. And that'll be at the end of July.
That's super exciting. So that list that I thought was here, like, it keeps going. And as we know, like, everyone starts in these games and wants to play, help on production. It's just a great community that we have built here, and I'm super excited to see it expanding in every way possible. So
exactly.
Thanks for keeping up the work, you two, and giving it your all, putting out new games, playing games, and promoting this community. So
you're welcome.
Yes, you're welcome. Our backs hurt from carrying.
Snyder is also joined in the comments. Snyder will be on pretty soon to do a recap episode himself and recap his draft list. So looking forward to that, Snyder, in a few weeks. Technically, I think I have you beat currently on the draft, so bonus points to me. We shall see at the end of the episode here tonight. But speaking of the episode, let's take a look and get some feedback on what Jamie and Will thoughts about the current season going into that. I'll bring up a little quick photo of all of our friendly faces there. Thoughts? What do you think of the cast right now? Jamie, best season ever? I mean, we don't know for sure yet.
It is definitely a season of Survivor that is happening, and I am watching. I would say I didn't mean to be that shady when I said that. It's good. It's good. Speaking just to the cast, I do think it's a very dynamic group of people. So it makes the viewing experience interesting because they do have some, interesting personalities. I can say like there's only a solid core that I actually find myself rooting actively for so far, even though I find a lot of them interesting as people, is how I would say it.
Will, top 10? Top 5, or we're still working on it?
It's been 2 episodes. I don't know. I would say I was texting my friend group like this is the first season of the new era where I finally have said like Survivor's gotten a little stale. Like I'm tired of these like this paint by number premiere with the 3 tribes, and we're gonna do opening challenge on the beach, and then there's gonna be a journey, and then there's gonna be a this, and then it's the it's like I get it, like they love what they're doing, but if you look back at the other seasons, at least they had a tribe swap in there. They did some interesting things. Like it's literally been the same fucking season. It took like so I'm kind of over it. I mean, I'm still gonna watch. I mean, it's Survivor. But yeah, it's getting a little stale, and I find that this season they basically were like, let's cast 18 of the most pick-me people that mommy and dad didn't love, and then they like, I need to go on and I need everyone to love me because I have a personality issue, and so like let's cast 18 of those people, and that's exactly what they did, and so like half of these people don't even feel like real people in the world. Like I was like, I don't understand how you lived a life this long. How Banu has got in life. Being like this, like what happens at the grocery store if there's no milk? Does he just flip everything like and he cries? Like how does he go about life? I don't know. But that's my
follow-up question. Is part of it, are you just upset because you really don't like geckos?
No, I love that challenge. And then I found out I loved it even more when it was they said it was 500 pounds.
Oh, that was so dangerous, though.
Oh my God. I was like I'm a nurse by profession. So like when they were like pulling it over like the big thing and there's like Kenzie's like under it. And I'm like, and then they're like, I was like, that shit was 500 pounds. That literally could have killed her.
I do like they have geckos in the logo. So that was kind of cute to see the gecko and the logo. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
but I was seriously like, if you catch the recap last week, I was like, okay, this sponsored by Geico. That's all it needed. Thank you, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's try to let's jump into like the cast and see what each tribe is doing.
I did like that I feel like got a good amount of time in each camp. I guess due to the 2-hour episode. But you kind of saw this, which, yeah, I get it. But
it was a half hour of Taylor Swift and Metallica songs.
Right. And as someone, listen, we're about to get some hate. I don't give a fuck about Taylor Swift, honestly. Like, it's cute, it's pop, but like, girl, go somewhere. So it was a lot. And then, like, it went on too long. I get they were trying to be like, look at the juxtaposition of Survivor players. But it was like, I could have gotten that in half the time.
Okay, so Will, if you were going to name one artist song, what artist would you choose?
Oh, if we're going back and forth like that?
Uh-huh.
Oh, it would have, I mean, kind of on the same like level of Ben, it would probably be like Slipknot.
Okay.
Which is harder than Metallica, but but that'd probably be mine.
I would choose Ace of Base. I own all 7 of their CDs. So I did have to import a few of them. So I'm just saying.
Work. Okay.
Uh-huh. Jamie?
This is like Sophie's Choice. It's so hard to pick one. I would probably pick Pink. That's what my gut's saying. But my other pick would be Stevie Nicks.
Okay. And don't worry, people watching, we're not going to go into 105 songs for each artist.
But
don't get me wrong. Like, so the start of the episode is already a big disappointment for me. Like, we see all these great alliances building, and then, like, one of the first things, like, Q and Tiffany are already wanting to go against Kenzie and vote her out. Like, that's, like, the initial conversation. Like, I like seeing all these wonderful relationships build, these alliances, and now episode 2, they're done with them already. And I felt like that's the whole episode here. Just people wanting to vote people out.
Yeah. And I feel like I feel like Banu and Jess were so ridiculously horrible at everything that if they had anyone on any of the other tribes, like take like a Randon and throw them on the tribe, like Kenzie was probably gone this tribal, which is wild to me. Like they were ready to just cut her because she had one conversation with Banu and Jess at the Rock.
Yeah. Now, I think that was really smart of Kenzie. Like, Kenzie's trying to put a strong face forward and being positive. So she had that moment away from people. Everybody breaks down in Survivor. Come on. Like, you're tired, you're stressed. Like, but the fact that she's like, I'm going to take my time and come back to the tribe.
And then she, of course, I love, she's like, she's crying, she's having a moment. Then she's like, the eyes are blue though, right?
Yeah.
And that's like, all right, girl, take a breath.
It's very interesting to see her break the fourth wall. We had a few characters last season, I want to say, broke that fourth wall and talked to production. And we saw a little bit of that. So that was interesting that they brought that back. Which I'm a fan of. Like, Survivor, they're there. And that's something that we know from doing live games and stuff. They have an impact at some point. You realize that there's somebody on the other side of the camera that you're feeding against. They're asking you questions, posing this, posing that. Like they're, what is it, the 19th player, I guess you could say, production?
Yeah.
Absolutely, because I think you have to, but I think the part, like this is part I got being on production for a few games now. Like I was like, oh, production, I'm basically going to be setting up challenges and hanging out. And then you're like, oh, no. Like you're like on-set therapist. You're like, that's the one part I didn't realize, like how many people, you know, they're coming to you and they're like, I don't want the camera on. I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then you're just like crying and now we're hugging. And I'm like, you know, now I'm like, you know, freaking, you know, like Tony Robbins being like, you can do this, like you're okay, and you're fighting for something bigger than yourself, and then it's like, then they leave, and then you're like, oh my gosh, like this is not what like.
I'll say that's a really interesting dynamic for me, especially because I'm literally a therapist. Like that is my job in real life. So like being a therapist and like wanting to be supportive to people, which I am, and you know, games that I help with or my own that I host, but then also at the same time, like needing to have a really strong poker face all the time. So, you know, it is interesting, like seeing the players in the game, you know, interact with the camera people, because it's probably at least somewhat a similar experience to what we're used to with what we're talking about.
And they're like really the only unbiased ones on the island, right? Like if your whole tribe is pissing you off, then you're like, I can't get away from these people. It's these 4 people and that's it. So then when you're talking to that camera person, even though they're not saying anything and the producer obviously is not like, you know, having a key, it's still a person that's not on your tribe that you can just talk to.
Let's see here. Oh, we have a friend of ours. Jamie, do you recognize this username here?
I do. I know who that
hey,
is.
Ben. How's
It's
it
one of my
going?
players, yeah.
Ben also played on Big Brother Hogwarts alongside me. Just throwing that out there. I was on the cast. Everybody forgets because I was gone so early and then joined production. Don't you worry.
Okay.
But I know, right? Good to see you in the comments here. Hopefully you can pop on for one of these recap shows too. That'd be fun. All right, let's dive into some of the tribe dynamics here and what we think what's going to play out. Okay, so here we have the Nami. Oh
my God!
Easily the best tribe
punch her in the throat,
and it's not close.
I'm surprised about how well they're doing. I feel like there's some dynamics going on that's going to cause friction between them, but they're working, they're communicating. Venus, Liz, like Randon going
this
against
tribe
them,
has Venus and Liz on it, and they're winning so much. You know,
don't know how that's possible.
Well, it's just because going into the season, like when I read the bios, I was like, Liz is fascinating because she's the one who somehow wants to play both like Russell and Sandra at the same time. So, you know, and then she is a business woman. We know that about her.
She won't let anyone forget about it.
And then Venus shows up immediately being like, I need to be even more over the top than this woman. But we can't also forget about the icon Soda, who is actually one of my favorites. Who is going to play like her favorite castaway of all time, Survivor 42.
I saw that. Just everyone in 42. She wants to play like all of them.
Yes. I'm sorry, I jumped right in with that. I couldn't help it.
No. The one thing that I don't like hearing, though, is I think it's on another tribe that we'll get to. Yeah, the green tribe in my notes. But people playing like somebody else, like play your own game. Like play the Liz
But if
game.
you're going to come up with that, at least make a combination that makes logical sense, not two people who are diametrically opposed in pretty much every way you can imagine.
Exactly.
It depends on the day. You know, even days I'm going to be like Russell, and then I'm going to be like, whoa, just Sandra. Like, it's okay.
Mhm.
Just bounce back and forth. It's all right.
So,
yeah.
I
Hunter
just
is
wanna say
kind
this
of
is my
getting.
favorite tribe.
Oh, I'm fans with the green tribe for the most part. So
Green is just like not interesting almost at all to me.
I agree.
This has like there's 3 people who I really like in the cast so far, and they're all on orange is kind of what it comes down to. So I don't necessarily really strongly like everyone on the tribe, but my 3 favorites are Soda, Tevin, and Hunter, and they're literally all here. So those I'd say were the 3 that I'm most rooting for, at least as of now. So
now, don't get me wrong. Like I am the white color boxes down there, so I have Liz on my team, and then I have Tevin on my team. So I got 2 strong players here. So
Who told you
Tevin's
Liz
my
was
number
strong?
1 draft. So
who told you Liz was strong? Who lied?
she
Someone
would tell
lied
you
to
that
her several
herself.
times.
she said it herself. Okay, you know she won 5 strength competitions as Wonder Woman. Okay, like she will tell you that.
Yeah.
And she's from Michigan, so that's bonus points for being awesome. So
I have to say, I think this tribe has the most interesting dynamics because if there's a tribe that's going to have like a yelling fight, which we have not seen in many, many seasons, I feel like it's this tribe because I feel
Purple
like
Tribe just had a yelling fight
which one?
when they were doing the challenge.
Oh, I'm talking like at camp, like, you know,
Okay.
interpersonal, like what the fuck you say, come at me type shit. Because like I
Like
feel
don't
like
point that finger.
yes, because I feel like because the way Tevin and Venus are, like they're not going to be able to hold it much longer. So Venus is going to say some slide comment, and Tevin's going to be like, "And the fuck you mean about that?" And it's going to kick off, and I'm here for it. They're
But
very
then I
much.
think like 30 minutes later, they're like, all right, girl, I'm sorry. Like, okay, I'm here now. Like they're gonna come and like recap a little bit. So
Yeah. They remind me much like the Blue Tribe from 41, where like there was a lot of interpersonal things going on, but they just kept winning, so nothing ever happened. That's kind of how they remind me.
That's I think a fair comparison. Can I tell you one thing that grinds my gears in Survivor? Can I?
yeah, we're just dishing on this episode, aren't we, folks? Like
We
are
really are, but
breaking
like
it down.
yeah, we're breaking it down. So I mean, I will say like I do think that Tevin, Hunter, and Soda seem to be the core of the team, at least as of now. And then we don't know what Liz is really thinking, as far as I'm concerned. Venus thinks she's on the outside. She's always thought she was on the outside. But the thing that grinds my gears is like when people are like, I am on the outside, like I need to play Survivor. And the way that I play Survivor, the way to play Survivor is to go find an idol or to find some sort of sound object. That is playing Survivor. And if you're not doing that, you're not really playing Survivor.
Let's play an Easter egg hunt, people.
Yeah.
Yes. So like I get where Venus is coming from, like wanting to stay in the game, obviously, but like I mean, I prefer a good, strong social game, and like that is just as much playing Survivor, if not more, than going to find a found object.
However, that social game has to start day 1. Like
Yes, it does.
Exactly, and that was whole Venus's thing, and it's like what I did like about kind of her like 1 episode arc here was she was crying and she's just like, you know, oh my god, and no one wants to speak to me, and I'm horrible, and everyone hates me because I'm beautiful or whatever. And then literally the next scene is Randon's like, hey, I found an idol, I want you to be my number 2.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my god, wait, someone likes me. And but it really showed like how perceptions on always reality. She perceived that she was on the outside getting voted out first, and then literally the next day someone's like, let's work together.
Which is really interesting because he also said like right before that he doesn't trust her.
Yes.
But yet wants to align with her. So I think that makes me like double down and say that that's probably because they're both aware that Hunter, Tevin, and Soda are the core of the group and they kind of need each other.
Right. And because Liz is not, she's not it. She's just not it. Because the thing is like they've shown us in 2 episodes that Liz, her favorite subject to talk about is how fucking successful she is and
She is
how
a
the money is garbage.
businesswoman.
Yes. And then now she doesn't need the money. She's very Gabler. Like, oh, I don't need the money. I just want to play for fun. Well, then
That
play
was the comparison I had in
LRG.
my notes.
Or
Yeah.
play an LRG if you want to play Survivor Fun, and let some of us fuckers who need the money on the goddamn show. But
And then donate to LRGs. Like, throwing that out, Liz. Okay.
right.
I think it was wise. Like, Randon is taking a big risk telling Venus and everything, but I'm excited to see where this trajectory goes. It's just a fun duo. Like, they didn't like each other for the longest time. Not the longest time. I mean, we're like 3 days in, folks. But
Yeah.
it's just interesting that, like, I think you're right. Like, he sees himself on the bottom, so he needs to get the other person that's like second on the bottom. Let's go in, make something happen. So
Yeah, because if they go to tribal, he gets his idol, and now both of them technically control the vote, but the other people were going to think they're controlling it.
mhm.
So I could see them being like, okay, we're all going to vote Venus out. Randon's like, totally down, love that. Get her ass out. Then he's going to go to Venus like, girl, I got you. They're all going to vote for you. I'm playing the idol on you. Who do you want out? And then I don't know. I don't know who they would target. Maybe Liz, but because you can't get rid of Hunter because he's literally winning challenges with you guys.
He's getting that firewood.
Yeah, because literally the reason Purple lost the immunity challenge, besides being a hot mess, was they needed Jelinski's 6'5" ass, and they would have won. Just saying.
You don't think he would have quit?
Oh, work. No, because Q would have been like, yo, stand in the middle and don't fucking move. And then Jelinski would have been like, okay, and sit there. He would have to do the least amount of work possible, and then he would have been happy.
Mm-hmm.
I do think they were missing the height factor for sure. Like, I think Jelinski would have pulled a little help more than Jess or Banu, maybe, just height purposes wise. So it is what it is. I have a comment here from Kidder. Kidder says that Jeff from Survivor is also the name of the OG Purple Wiggle from the land down under. I have no idea.
Fascinating.
Work.
It's over my head. So,
well, the Wiggles is a show. It was like a kids show from Australia, and there was 4 dudes, and they all had a different color.
mm-hmm.
And and then I guess the purple one was named Jeff.
Huh.
Work. Love that.
Great fact. There we go. Anything else here on the Nami tribe? Nami.
I think the last thing I would say is, like, even though they are my favorite group, like, I do want them to lose a challenge at some point because I want to see these dynamics come to a head, because that would actually be pretty entertaining compared to some of the other groups, I think, going to tribal again or for the first time.
Agreed.
I watch Survivor, but I'm not the person that's going to tell you what happens in every single episode of every single thing. Are we seeing this Flint impacting the teams too much? Do we see like a predominant team like win back to back to back? Are we seeing this Purple Tribe lose because of this?
Well, it's hard to say if that is the only factor or not, or if it's just a factor of like the people themselves being not compatible with each other is how I will say it. But
I feel like last time we saw a team get almost decimated as well before they started to win.
Yeah, I mean that was Lulu though, and like I personally feel like production had it out for Lulu. Like I think they were the tribes were stacked in a way that they were meant to always be the losing tribe. That was just the perception I had of it.
I feel like in the new era too, there's always it's either one tribe loses a bunch, which is like UA, the green tribe from 41, or Lulu or whatever, or you have the opposite. You have a tribe that wins every fucking challenge. So that's blue tribe from 41, what was it? Last season, I forget which one it was. There was like one
Reba.
tribe. Yes.
Last season, I feel like Reba was very overpowered as a tribe. Like having 100%. Like Austin and Sifu on the same tribe is a bit much compared to like Lulu, who has,
Sean and Brandon.
Yes.
Which, mind you, I've met Brandon. He's lovely. But again, Sifu, who's like literally like a karate master, that's like knowing your body.
And Austin, they probably had the two strongest guys on the same team.
Exactly.
I think we need to restack these teams, people. I need more switch ups, and
I'm ready for a swap already. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of swaps, let's swap over to this next tribe here. So, we have. Are they my favorite? I guess so. Like, come on, green team, Siga.
Well, here's the thing. The green tribe isn't like really getting it because I always I have like a fantasy draft with my friends and people get points for certain things. Maria didn't even get a confessional this episode.
Mariah?
No, Maria.
Maria did. I don't think Mariah did when I was making note of it. Because Maria did when she was talking about the alliance with Manchester by the Sea, Charlie.
Oh, that's right. Oh, no. I think, Mariah, either she didn't get a confessional or she got one, but it meant absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I don't think Mariah got one, and I don't know that Jem did either.
Yeah.
I
what I'm saying is
got a little bit one.
Yeah, I think, like I said, the big thing you take away from Green is that Charlie likes Taylor Swift, and Ben can't go more than 5 minutes without a fucking music reference because production told him, like, we love this, keep going. And so he just has to say the fucking word shred every fucking minute of the day. And it's like, I get it, music's great and you love it, but like, again, like multidimensional would be appreciated. But we all
I feel like the one strategy person who I like have some level of positivity toward so far would be Maria.
Yes.
Like that's about it. I think that's for me what this tribe has going for, because Mariah did not speak outside of like being on the bench with Liz. And Jem, I don't think spoke at all. And Manchester by the Sea, Charlie is not my favorite person on the cast. So it's like, I'm sorry, Dustin. I know it's your favorite tribe, so maybe I should let you take over. So.
I just like the color green. Maybe that's what it is. So I just thought it was really cute that they all came up with nicknames and everything, as you see here. This is where I paused and I was like, oh my gosh, let me go back and like rename my pictures. So we got like Benevolent, Tarzan. I don't know where that comes from at all. I know
they didn't explain any of them. Why is Mariah called Machete?
I don't know, but I like it. I'm like, yeah. Come on, Mo. She goes by Mo, I guess, when she was talking to Liz. That's something I didn't catch up on. So, but
yeah, that was a little interesting conversation her and Liz had at the mat. That was like, is this? I'm interested to see if it comes.
I mean, both of them are just not like the other girls.
Yeah, she's like, I like your socks. I like your glasses. I was like, are you guys gonna fucking make out yet, or like, are we gonna have like a payoff to this, or
not?
Yeah.
Snyder did want a showmance, so I think that would be interesting to see. So,
yeah, well, we got one last season.
This is like, I'll say that this tribe falls into the unfortunate dynamic for me, where like I don't particularly like most of these. I don't like actively hate any of them. I don't really like any of them, but I also don't want this tribe to lose because I don't want to spend more time with them.
Oh, I live. Yes, I 100% agree with you with that, because it's like, who's gonna go, and you go, honestly, I really don't give a shit who goes. I mean, Maria is probably my favorite because she's kind of like that older woman stereotype, whatever, and she seems really, really well connected. So, and I think I'm like, that's the one good part about the tribe. Otherwise, no one's really. I think in a 3-tribe season, there's always one tribe that gets shafted.
I like the dynamic of Charlie and Maria working together. I think they are kind of the two strongest like social thinkers, I guess you could say. So they're working.
Well, they're definitely getting the most screen time too. Yeah, Maria, and to me he will always be Manchester by the Sea, Charlie. I'm trying to make it take off. He's going to be the new Canton Rob. You did not know Boston Rob did not live in Boston when he first played Survivor, and I don't know that he ever did in any of his seasons.
Yeah, I just learned that recently, and I was just like, oh wow.
Go back and watch Marquise's. He is introduced as Rob Mariano from Canton, Massachusetts, so he will always be Canton Rob for me.
But once again, we see everyone trying to backstab their alliances already. Like, we need to vote this person out. We need to vote this person out already. And then what else did I have on here?
Dustin,
and like
if
I
you
said
had a
earlier,
choice, who would you most want to see eliminated first from this tribe? Since they're
Ben.
your favorite tribe.
Benevolence. Bye.
Yes. Well, Ben is definitely like the personality hire. Like he walked into production, he was like, shred music, and they're like, oh yes, this guy. I don't think he has any game. Like he's literally just like they casted him because he was funny and cool. But like he's not putting together a vote.
Mm-mm.
Like, you know what I mean? He might find an idol that might help his game, but like he's going to get strung along.
But what brought up the comment that we mentioned earlier that I just want people to bring like their own game, their own twist to the game. It's Charlie and Maria, even though we like them, they're like, let's be Denise and Malcolm and Denise again. Like, why are we watching Survivor? We don't want repeats. Well, repeats aren't that bad for good seasons, but like we don't want to see the same thing hashed out again, even though we like the regular stuff on Survivor. We want fresh, we want new, we want something different.
And I'm sorry, but Maria does not strike me really as Denise. And Manchester by the Sea, Charlie is a far cry from Malcolm.
Oh yeah, not my baby Malcolm. Not him trying to compare himself. No, ma'am. Malcolm would never love Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Ben, if you're catching in, Manchester by the Sea, Charlie is the Taylor Swift fan here too. We don't have Bill Lucio playing this season, so another Taylor Swift fan.
I thought you were saying he was also from Manchester by the Sea.
No, I don't think so. At least I think like Chicago area, the greater Chicago area. He will be joining us. Snyder can correct me in the comments. I think we're on next week with Bill Snyder. He'll tune in pretty soon. So, last but not least, we have our favorite purple tribe here. Jamie, if you get the first tribe, I get the second tribe. So, Will, this is going to be your favorite. So, why is this your favorite tribe?
Fuck me. All right. I mean, listen, we love a messy tribe. It's definitely giving Lulu vibes where like there's just like half the tribe is just not an entity. And again, they're just there because, you know, they were fun in casting. And then there's like 3 people actually playing. It was just odd. Like this whole, like, we're worried about Jess playing her shot in the dark. So we're going to give her a whole fake idol and
then take 20 minutes of doing it. Like,
yeah, and then like
this whole episode, 2 hours.
And I'm sorry, Jess took it way better than I ever would. Because here's the thing, you gonna let my ass stand up and hand Jeff these little shit ass beads, and then he's gonna turn around and say it's a fake idol after you like. And Q went hard on that lie. Like, it wasn't like, hey, girl, just play it and never talk to you. He was like, you're going to vote who I want to vote for. And da-da-da-da-da. And like, was like, really, she was like, listen, just look him in the eye. Tell me it's fake. He's like, how dare you? I've had it for a week. Like, he really just kept going. Let me tell you, they say, Will, this is not a real idol. I'm throwing hands, point blank. Because I know I'm getting voted out. You can't kick me off the show anyway. I'm already voted out. So I'm a pop some people as I leave. Because it was a little much. I'm like, we did all this to get Jess. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot of drama to get girlfriend out. But
well, there's always the chance that she does have an idol and she plays it. So they are trying to cover their butts in the worst case scenario for
but Tiffany already has the idol. Everyone knows it.
It's Survivor. There could be 17 idols.
Well, not the way the new era is. It's very predictable. There's one idol on each beach, and that's it. Because God forbid we throw some spice and variety in the game. Throw 2 idols on the beach. I'm down for that. That would cause some chaos. But as for this tribe, yeah, I mean, again, Lulu vibes. Tiffany, Q, Kenzie are gonna run this. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose again, and then. Please let Banu be voted out. Oh, I can't stand this man. Oh, I can't stand him. I can't do it. If he gets to the merge, I'm just going to quit. I can't do it. I don't have the strength in me.
Yeah, I would say for me, this is the tribe. Like, I really like orange. I'm not a big fan of green. I think purple at least has potential. I don't know
Oh
if
yeah,
this is a hot take, but I will say my favorite person on the tribe was by far Jess. And I never expected her to do particularly well. But I did really like her, and I think part of that is because I feel like it's Survivor, so a lot of people will try to come up with sound bites or interesting things to seem interesting. I don't feel like that was her vibe at all. I feel like she was just
agreed.
always very genuine and transparent and just was like a bit of a quirky, interesting personality type for Survivor. So like the content she got, I always liked, even if I didn't think she was long for the world.
No, I
She
completely agree.
Not like I like to compare people with other players, of course, because I just said that earlier. However, very Sharin, like, I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm going to watch these monkeys. And in Jess's case, it's like, I don't want to talk to people, so I'm just going to eat all these ants and not have anything to say. Like,
Mhm. So, ooh, here's what it is. Several people in this cast believe and will tell you how they are hashtag not like the other girls. Jess is actually not like the other girls, but doesn't need to tell you that.
Yes.
mhm.
Like I said, she does not come across as like a pick me person, which most of the cast is. She's just like, yeah, I like, and she admitted even like in her like exit words, which I think it's wild. If you're a fan of Survivor and her exit words, she's like, yeah, I guess I should have started strategizing earlier. And I'm like, that's like Survivor 101. But I mean, that's how the game is, you
Mhm.
know?
Thinking back to the draft, I watched like their 20-second like meet me videos, and I could be totally wrong here. Sorry. I think her and her husband applied, and she got through, and he didn't, but he was the bigger fan of the show, and she's like,
Oh, interesting. So her
Mhm.
husband's boring, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I did really like her. And maybe part of it is also like, I think there's ways that we're definitely very different, but like I'm very much an introvert myself. So I do think that like doing something like
so
Survivor,
is
any
Will.
live game is always challenging for me. But I do think that like, I would have hit the ground running a lot quicker and at least tried to make more connections, even if it was overwhelming.
Yeah, but I mean, because especially now that you've had, again, these very paint by number seasons, and Jeff says it on the podcast every season, this game is so fast, you have to hit the ground running. He says it
Yeah.
every season. And so for
And-
you to be like, oh, for 2 days, I'm just going to be sad about being tired. Well,
yeah.
girl, you can be sad and you can still talk.
But to play devil's advocate a little bit, Tiffany had her big thing about like not knowing like any pros to keeping Jess. Like I do think a good one is like I perceive Jess to be someone who would be a pretty loyal person if you actually like allowed yourself to get to know her or gave her that sort of a chance. She's not really a big mover or shaker. Heck, Kenzie came to her and is like, "Hey, how do you feel about this blind side?" And she didn't even go for it. So I do think that like if you were willing to like, you know, surround her, I do think she would probably be a loyal person to you, is my
On
vibe.
like an old school 16-person season in a tribe of 8, I think she does extremely well. But like in a tribe of 6 where Kenzie literally goes to her and Banu and is like, hey, what do you think about blindsiding? And Jess is like, I need to think about what I'm thinking. I'm
You
like,
always say yes.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I like
You
she
never turn down an ally.
that's what I'm
Mhm.
saying. Like I was like, I think that makes sense what you were saying, Jamie. Like maybe she's not as big of a fan because like that's like the
Yeah.
biggest mistake.
But
Anyone comes up,
similarly, I feel like I want to address the Banu of it all because I want to like Banu. I do. Like I can agree.
why?
I can understand someone being an overly emotional person, but at the same time, this is Survivor. If I hear that 3 people are talking by the water well about like who to vote out, logically, I think I would deduce that none of those 3 people are going to say each other's names. So, like, of course, your name is going to come up as an option because you're one of 2 people not in front of them. That does not mean that
Mhm.
people are against you or that, like, you are definitely out. It's just logical sense, right? And I feel like that just went right over his head.
My favorite line of the episode, first of all, I love Tiffany. I live. Is Banu basically starts losing his shit at tribal because the wind changed direction and he starts fucking trying to make it a live tribal and everyone's sitting there like, I ain't getting up. And then he goes to Tiffany and he's like, Tiffany, oh my God, are you voting me out? And she looks at him the way the camera was like on the side and she's like, stop making the seat hot.
Mhm.
And he went, okay. I said,
Yeah, I
that
do
is
think I
how
have a lot of
you control
potential
a
for
man.
liking Tiffany. I really want to like Tiffany. I will say, as of now, she is definitely my second favorite Tiffany of the new era.
Is the first one, what season was that with Voce and
Hero, icon, legend, Tiffany from season 41.
It is 41, okay.
Yes, I adore her. One of my favorites of all time, Rob Goddess.
She had a good game.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting on our draft that we had earlier before the season kicked off, Tiffany and Banu were not chosen by any of our drafters. So that was kind of like the last pick person. We got to either choose Banu on our team or Tiffany. 3 of us sided with Tiffany. And then one Snyder voted for Banu. So
Someone chose Liz over Banu and Tiffany.
Right?
I chose Liz over Banu. Come on, we're from Michigan. We gotta stick together here.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See how that works out for you.
We'll
see. Okay, maybe Bono will go next. Okay.
I hope that my thing is like, do you really think that this is how Banu is 100% of the time in his real life? Like it's almost like a little too much. Like I get it. Like listen, I'm an emotional person, but like it's like a little like, bro, come on. Like you've been out there for 5 days. Like the way he's screaming at Jess during the challenge, which I loved. But like it was just like everything's at 100% of the time. And like I don't know anyone who's like that. Sometimes people do like to just chill. He has none. Like, I don't know. Do you feel like it's an act? I don't think. Or do you think he's just trying to play it up?
I think most people at least play up parts of their personality traits. They're honestly probably motivated to, you know. So I don't think that's definitely a unique thing to him, although I do think that is likely. Yeah.
This is your specialty, Jamie, to like read people and like understand what goes up here.
Sometimes better than others, though, you know. But yeah, I do think, you know, like if you're in front of a camera and you are like, you know that they want good content from you, like you're going to be motivated to give that, right?
Yeah, and he's also a fan, so he kind of knows what they're looking for, I guess.
Like as opposed to Jess, who wasn't a huge fan, like he wants to be there and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I got the impression that she was completely fine with leaving. Like, I don't think she was actively like vote me out, but I think that she was ready to be done. And you know, that's actually good for her. Like, you know, if she can say that she had a good Survivor experience and a full experience, you know, like that's great. You know,
I'm waiting to see the husband back for Blood versus Water. So
just
bring her back and like
they can be the new Brad and Monica. And then when she comes back for Blood versus Water, it can be about how she is playing for Monica.
And then she can
every live game I play, I always play for Monica Culpepper.
And then she can get to the end and she goes, "Have you just never met a nice lady?"
Yep, she could.
Oh boy.
Let's hit. We talked a little bit about the challenge and whatnot. What do we think of the challenge? I thought it was all right. I
didn't think it needed a 7-minute commercial break.
Yeah, that was interesting. A commercial break right in the middle of the immunity challenge. Usually we don't get those. I liked it. I mean, it was similar to the one that Drew won. Wait, Drew won that last season, the individual. I like that it was bigger. And honestly, like, I liked it because it looked so fucking annoying to do. Honestly, it's funny. I also love how, like, it's such a good production and art value, and literally the whole first half of the challenge meant absolutely nothing. Like they literally should have just said, "Make the arch." That should have been the whole challenge. Because the whole first.
We want them tired. We want them to be like, "Oh my gosh, I was carrying that big chest." Like, you got to wear them out a little bit.
Yeah, but I just liked it just because of it was drama. All 3 tribes hated each other during that challenge. It's just, you know, the other 2 hated each other a little bit less. And that's why.
So before the challenge, they had a lot of words back and forth. Like they just
a lot of Matt chat
voted out. Like too much, too little, or all in good fun?
I kind of question if like usually they get about that much, but they just had a lot of runtime to pad tonight, so they can show us a lot.
I would have
think it's
rather
always
saw
that
more of
much.
that than the other stuff. So
I think it was, it's whatever. It's fine. I think it's hilarious though. Like I love soda, but like they revealed Jelinski got voted out. You would have thought her mother got ran over by a bus. She was, oh my, and I'm like, bitch, you didn't even fucking know the guy. Why are you shocked? Like it was just like, and everyone's like, like shocked, like this guy, like, oh my God, how dare he get voted out? And I'm like,
Well,
so
honestly, like, part of me always feels like people are probably just genuinely surprised that a young white guy gets voted out first. Like, I
oh,
hate to say that that's the truth, but I do think
I
there's
love
something
that.
to that.
That makes sense because I remember because I watched the premieres with like my little Survivor group, and I was like, oh wow, we haven't had a man leave first in a very long time.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it does happen, but like it's like pretty rare for people of like his archetype to actually get voted out first. It really makes me think like, how bad does someone need to do or in his archetype to be voted out first? I think that's
Jelinski bad.
some
That's how
ego.
bad you have to do it.
Yes, that is right.
Last name first out.
Mm-hmm.
Iconic, love it.
Yeah, and one of our drafters too. We did like a little bonus points at the end, and Sam was like, "I think there's going to be a young guy voted out first," and then he named off like 3 guys. We're like, "All right, we'll give you bonus points if you can pick the first boot." So he did. He got his points. So congrats to Sam.
All right.
All right. Speaking of the draft here, here's our running order real quick, just if you're keeping track at home, because I know everybody's doing it. It's like March Madness, but like for Survivor, and this made up style that I did. So we'll see here. So currently, Sam, after his little bonus points from last episode, is winning right now our draft. We have DB next, myself, it's third. I can't count clearly. And then Snyder is bringing up the back. So, but we have a special little twist here. Jamie and Will, since you are our guests tonight, who are you awarding the MVP of the episode? Jamie, you joined the podcast first. Who are we giving 2 bonus points for? Just to remind folks at home, Tiffany won hands down last episode. So
this is really hard because I don't know who to give bonus points to. It's more like I want to take some away from people.
Oh my God, Jamie, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Like, I guess by process of elimination, I'm just checking my work. I'm checking my numbers, checking the spreadsheets in my mind.
This can be anything you want. These are your points to give.
I'm going to try to be a little less biased and not just pick one of my favorites just because they're my favorites. So I will give them to Q.
Okay. What stood out for Q this episode for you?
In that, well, he and Tiffany, I think, are the only 2 people on the Purple Tribe who were never going to get voted out. Whereas I would have never done the move that he did with Jess. I do like at least understand where he's coming from there. And I do think he's just in a really good position on that tribe. And it kind of had to be someone from that tribe who was going to get the points for me. And it was process of elimination, really.
His line that, like, if you don't want the idol, give it back to me, I thought was like super clever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Will, bonus points.
All right. I guess I'll give my bonus points to Randon.
Okay.
If he did find an idol, and I also I just like we had talked about it, but like I like that, he was like, I don't necessarily trust Venus, but she's kind of like the only person I got, and we could possibly do something with this interesting. And I do kind of like I guess because I'm kind of watching Australian Survivor, Titans vs Rebels, which is like there's a pair in the game currently, and it's like they have been flipping between frenemies and allies the entire game.
Joseph had rave reviews last episode that we did the recap. He says it was one of the best seasons ever, and he can't wait for every episode.
Yeah, so I do like that they can be a pair, but it doesn't have to be like Q and Tiffany. You could tell her it's ride or dies to the end. Whereas like Brandon and Venus are like, listen, we might not be ride or dies, but we need each other to get through this. And I like that it was like I don't know, we don't see that a lot. I feel like in the new era, it's like, oh my god, we're friends, and then we get to the end, it's done. Like a very like a Cody and Jesse type situation. But it's like, hey, we can get to the end, or we might not get to the end, but
No,
we
we
can
don't
play.
talk about 43. Although Sammy is 19.
Not anymore. I mean, that was like years ago.
Nuh-uh.
He was only 19 on that show. Holy shit.
Yeah. It's a well-kept secret.
Mm-hmm. Just like Liz has 4 businesses, $1 million.
And just like everyone was a lawyer in 45.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. So here's our cast at the time. So let's do the memory wall right here. Where is poor Jess?
My
I
heart.
know. Are you gonna be okay, Jamie?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I didn't think she would do well, but like I did want to see her succeed.
Yeah, and I don't like the way she went out. I just feel like they could have gotten the same result without like forcing her to play a fake idol. I just always feel like it's like I get what you're trying to do, but like if she found it on her own, cool. But like the whole thing of like, no, you're just gonna hand it to her and strong arm
it
her.
was a bit of overkill because I mean she's not Mike Tyson. She's Jess.
Just Jess. Yeah. Yes, I didn't love that, but you know, I guess I don't know how much this cast saw all of 45. Yeah, so this cast saw all of 45? No. 5. No, I don't think they saw any of 45 because I was like, oh, are they that much worried about the shot in the dark because they saw Caleb play it? But then I remembered 45, 46 were filmed back to back, so I didn't even see it.
So folks, I know this episode was a little long, but what are we looking forward to coming up? Jamie, what do you want to see here? What's going on?
I said this before, but I would like to see the Orange Tribe lose because I think they're the ones with the most interesting dynamics, and I think that would be like a really potentially chaotic situation. Yeah, I think that I'm just gonna go with that.
Mm-hmm. We have a boat coming, according to the previews and whatnot.
Oh, yay! Another journey. I love a good journey. Yay!
Do you?
Not really. Well, it's funny you talk about journeys. So I live very close to Philly, so I go to like the Bryce and Wendell like watch parties, and I ran into one of the people there was James, again from the season that will not be named, and I don't know, we were just chit chatting, and he made a really good observation because I was like, yeah, the knowledge is power like really screwed your game, right? Because that's like one of the reasons he got voted out is because he had it. And he goes, yeah, it's really interesting in the new era. Like getting anything is a detriment. It used to mean something, but like any type of advantage, it's easier to play the game without it because if you look at the non-idol advantages never really do anything. Maybe an extra vote here and there, but that's usually never played right. And then like even the idols, like the most successful idol play was Julie playing it and getting Emily out. Otherwise, like there's been a few idol plays here and there, but nothing crazy like that, you know? And he told me, which I'm surprised no one's done yet, which if I ever get cast on Survivor, which is, you know, a snowball's chance in hell. But like that boat comes and like, who wants to go to the journey? The first thing I'm saying is, oh, I don't want to go. You guys can choose amongst yourselves. I'm just going to take myself. I'm not drawing a rock. I'm not drawing a stick. I don't even want to draw. I don't want to be part of it. You 4 can draw for it, but I don't even want to be considered. For the journey.
I'd be like, oh, I get seasick. I shouldn't go, guys. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, let me just stay on the beach. Like,
yeah, I'm surprised no one has ever abstained. But
all right, Will, what you looking forward to this season?
Very similar to what Jamie said. I want to see kind of what Orange does. Even though Green is a little boring, I am also interested to see how they would go to Tribal because it almost seems like a 2-2-2. Like, you know, you have Charlie and Maria in the middle, and then Jem and Mo are like on one side, and then Ben and Tim are like the other side. So it seems like they would kind of be in the middle. It seems interesting, but I feel like they would end up going with the guys and vote Mariah out, who is like a non-entity. So it would probably be like, it might be interesting to see, but ultimately like not have a interesting result.
Interesting. My guess would be if Green went to Tribal, I think Ben would go.
Oh, but see, I guess I go off what Maria said. She's like, we need tribe strength.
Yeah,
know,
but I
but then
think,
again,
especially
like,
if it gets
Maria's a
longer
part of
and
the-
longer into the pre-merge, I do think it'd be more likely to be Ben.
Yeah. Well, because now, I mean, they know that swaps happen because they did do a small swap in 44. They didn't know that they did a full swap in 45. So they don't know like that's a possibility. But at least they know going into their season, like a teeny swap of some kind of might happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
I'm
looking
voting
to see
for
who gets the
Ben to be
advantage
out.
on Green.
All right, so thanks everyone for joining at home, at your work, on the bus, wherever you're watching from. But also importantly, thank you, Will. Thank you, Jamie, for coming on the show, doing a little recap here. So check out Stranded LRG, and then check out Who is the Mole as soon as you can. Thanks again, everyone, and everyone have a great night.
See you guys.
Bye.